Hello everyone, how are you all? I'm just walking down the lake with my kids. Hang on, let me flip this so you can see where we're at. There they are. We're going for a bike ride dash walk along the lake. It's such a spectacular day here today. Look at that. So pretty. If you've never been to Lake Macquarie near Newcastle, I strongly encourage you to put it on your to-do list. It's just so pretty. We've lived here for about 6 years now, and it's the best thing we ever did moving up here. Anyway, I did a live feed earlier today in my Emotional Confidence for Women group, all about hey Mel, you've probably heard this already, all about head chatter, because I did a survey. I've got to keep an eye on the kids. I did a survey earlier or late last week and just asked what it was that kept women awake of a night time. And unsurprisingly, yet alarmingly so, most people said that head chatter kept them awake. And I know for me, 4 years ago, my head chatter was, I'd be able to write a novel every night with the thoughts that had come through my head. And it really prevented me from being present in my kids' lives, and it prevented me from connecting with my husband on a regular basis, and it really impacted my business too. So it kind of impacted all areas of my life because my head just didn't shut up. And I used to talk to friends who don't experience a lot of head chatter, and they just had no comprehension. So aren't they lucky? Anyway, started to learn about the male and female brain, and our female brains have a lot more white matter in our brains, which means we can multitask. Our brains are designed to deal with more than one thing at a time, all of the time. And so head chatter is a lot more common for us. Sorry, you're going to see how unfit I am now that I'm walking. Anyway, so head chatter is something that affects probably just about every woman to a degree. And I wanted to do some exploration as to what actually caused head chatter, because it's all very well and good to say, yes, I've got head chatter, but what do you do to become aware of what's causing it so that you can prevent it from happening into the future? And also, what can you do to bring it at bay when you've got it, particularly if it's happening at 2 a.m. in the morning, which tends to be the time that head chatter kicks into gear. So when I was talking to my group today, and if you're not a part of the group, can I encourage you to join us? If you just do a search for Emotional Confidence for Women, you'll find us. The group, I do a lot more frequent videos, and I share a lot of my favourite strategies that I implement in my life, and also that I've taught my kids to put into their lives. So it's a lot more full on than just my page. My page is more of an idea, I guess just an introduction to who I am, so that you can get to know this wacky self. Anyway, hang on, I've got to go out to the piers. Head chatter. What I would suggest you do the next time you have head chatter is start to pay attention to what the head chatter is causing you to feel. Most head chatter, I believe, is caused by feelings of doubt, guilt and insecurity. And so if you're doubting yourself, something that you can do, and I've probably encouraged you to do this in the past, but it's so important to be able to do this in all facets of emotional stuff that's not really working. Give me 2 minutes, okay? Okay. Give me 2 minutes. And that is to identify what you're feeling, and then recognise whether or not what you're feeling, what you're thinking and saying to yourself, is it truth, or is it just BS that you've painted and that you've told yourself? So if it's a thought, no, not at the moment. What I would encourage you to do is validate it or reject it. And I say this a lot, but it's super easy and very powerful to just validate or reject the thought. So what validate means is, say you have a thought, you've not done something that you intended to do the day before, and so you're laying in bed going, God, I should have done this, I should have done that, I'm such a bad mum, I'm such a bad business person because I didn't do what I should have done today. That word should is fueled with guilt. So if you are saying that to yourself, you have a choice. You can either validate that I should have done that and I'm feeling guilty because of this, by finding examples of situations that fuel the guilt and fuel the doubt. Or you can reject it. You can reject it by simply saying, okay, yes, I can acknowledge that I'm feeling guilty because I didn't do this, this and this. However, I'm rejecting it because I know that I did do this, this and this. So rejecting and validating a thought, it's a really great way for you just to cut through the shit and start to calm your mind. And something else that you can do that I mentioned today in the group that I'd love to share with you is create a visualization technique where your only job with the thoughts that come in is not to analyze them. Analyzing them puts you into that paralysis. It puts you into that space of, my kids are just riding through like 8 different pelicans. Hang on, where's all the pelicans? Look, there's all the pelicans. And the kids just rode down that hill over there where all these pelicans were sitting just minding their business. And my rat bag kids rode through them all. That was hilarious. Sorry, totally off track. That was really funny. And I've lost my train of thought. That happens a lot, doesn't it? What was I saying?
I made that happen.
You did make that happen. Good job.
Mum.
I need 2 minutes.
There's 4 bones that, sharp,
okay.
that a fish has got sharp at.
Okay.
Especially that one.
Okay. My jungle gym's talking about the bones in the bottom of the lake.
The shark bit.
Shark bones apparently.
No, the shark bit a fish.
Oh, the shark bit the fish. Okay. Jungle gym knows everything. I don't know what I was saying, something about, oh yes, okay, so you've got your thought that comes in. There is no point in, and this doesn't matter whether it's happening in the middle of the night or whether it's happening in the middle of the day. More often than not, there is no point in you spending your time analysing the thought that you've had. Or analysing the story that has happened, because it's already happened. If you were a logical, male-brained human being, then analysing it and finding logical reason would help you to address it and get through it. But you're not. You are female and you are emotional. So the more time you spend analysing the story, the more caught up in the story you're going to become, and the harder it is going to be for you to dismiss it and get over it. So regardless of whether it's head chatter or whether it's just through the middle of the day stories that you're telling yourself, try not to analyse the story. More so, give yourself limited choices. 70% of everything that you think is a repeated thought from yesterday. So every thought that comes in, your only job is to go, am I going to delete and ditch this thought because I can recognise that it is just shit? Or am I going to file it away for a later time and deal with it at an appropriate time, because right now is not the right time. If it was the right time right now, I'd be doing something with that thought. Does that make sense? So rather than complicate it by analysing it, just simplify it. Bring it back down to, is this something I need to deal with right now? Or is it something that I can delete? And if it's something you can delete, which is up to, and I would even say more than that, but at least 70% of every thought you have is just crap. So throw it in the bin, let it go. And then anything that you do need to address but you can't do right now, particularly if it's some stupid time in the morning, visualise a filing cabinet that you can store it into. And I talked about this in the group this morning as well. The power of using your brain, of being able to work with your brain, frees you up. Now, a lot of people sort of go, they're very sceptical. We as adults become very sceptical, which is sad. A kid, I've taught my kids how to do this and they don't question it. They just, okay, it works. They do it. The reason that we're sceptical is because we think something so simple can't possibly work. But I ask you, the last time you had a nightmare, when you were asleep, you've had a nightmare and you've woken up from the nightmare and your body was reacting as if what you were seeing in your head was true, that is perfect example of the power of your brain. So by identifying the thought and either deleting it or putting it into the filing cabinet for later, your body will respond accordingly. It will file it away and it'll recall it later on down the track, or it'll just let it go because you have recognised, you've become conscious that it's not necessary to think about. So I know that was a real roundabout way and I got distracted, and I apologise for all the distractions, but I hope you're enjoying the beautiful views behind me. This is where I run the weekend retreats that I do with women, just down there at that house behind me over there. And I also now obviously do a lot more work with women one-on-one over the phone and via Skype. So if you are interested in learning ways that you can deal with all of the shit in your head, all of the doubts and the insecurities and the uncertainties and everything else that's preventing you from stepping into your place of power, then I have been trained in processes that not just work with your conscious mind but also tap into the power of your unconscious mind, and they do it in a feminine way. So it just works. process is amazing. I would love to share with you information about it. So if you'd like to know more, you can PM me and we can arrange a time to chat, or you can access my online calendar, which if you're on my page down the bottom left hand side, there should be a little tab called Meet Bree, and you can connect with me that way. So have a fantastic day. Enjoy wherever it is that you're at. The kids are wrestling over here with the bikes and the pelicans and God help me. It's the last day of school holidays and I just watched a blog with a girlfriend, and she said, you know, she doesn't believe that she is built to be a full-time mum. And honey, if you're watching this, I agree 100%. I'm not built to be a full-time mum. It's good for me to have time away from my kids, and it's good for my kids to have time away from me, as I know a lot of mums can definitely appreciate. So have a great day. If you've got head chatter, head over to the group, Emotional Confidence for Women. There is a lot more detail about head chatter in that group. I'm a little bit more specific because I wasn't distracted. And I have great plans for that group this week in particular. I've got some fantastic things that I'd really like to share with everyone in that group. So please head on over, Emotional Confidence for Women. If you want to chat, send me a PM. Mwah! Love you all. Enjoy the sunshine. And I'll give you one last glance of paradise, because it's just spectacular. This is at Rafferty's Resort, which is at Cairns Wharf on Lake Macquarie. There's all those pelicans, poor buggers. They're too scared of my kids. Look. There we go. Have a sensational day. Appreciate, love, and respect yourself. Bye.